The Arcturians.
Okay. Well, welcome again. We had some questions today for our YouTube viewers, the Q&A that we like to do. Are you able to help us get some answers today?
Yes.
Okay, well, thank you for doing that. We always appreciate it. And the first one we're going to start off is we're going to ask about dogmen. Are they real?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so a lot of people describe them looking like werewolves. Like, is that what they look like, or can you tell us like more on that of what they look like?
Yeah, so there are different versions. Right now they're really showing me Orion. They come from Orion. And then there's also some in Alpha Centauri's. Um, and there are some, it's like anything else, like there are some that are negative and positive. They look more kind of like there are some that look more like werewolves, and then there are others that look more kind of like dogs.
Now, what are they here to do?
They're showing me that they fought in the Orion Wars. Like they really helped. Um, so I see them as like a very divided collective where it's like I could see like the positive dog beings really be for the light, and then there were also like more like werewolf looking at beings that fought for the dark side. And it's like they're showing me like the wars of Orion, mainly because that's where they're from. And then there's also some that just have like that are very balanced, that are in Alpha Centauri's, that work. They're like shapeshifters, so they can shapeshift into different beings, and then it's like they're teaching other beings how to shapeshift.
Can all beings shapeshift?
Yes, but it manifests differently on each plane of existence. So, or like, especially in each dimension, it manifests differently. So, like, if you go to like the fifth dimension, um, you can shapeshift pretty easily. But if you're on the third dimension, it takes a lot more time to like shapeshift or use like visualization to change into what you have that intention to change into. There are other beings where it's like more natural to them. So you have beings that are more that can just like naturally shapeshift a lot easier, even in a 3D reality. So you have beings like um they're showing me things like mermaids, werewolves, and reptilians even. Like they can just naturally shapeshift pretty easily because of the genetic structure of the physical form that they take on.
Now, are the dogmen, are those what we would consider like the skinwalkers here?
The negative ones.
The skinwalkers are the negative ones.
Yeah.
So why did the indigenous community here in America use them for protection?
It's like anything else. So like you can make friends with the darkness like when you understand. So like we have this connotation being humans that like there's good or bad in the world. But if things are dark and light, that doesn't like necessarily mean bad or good. So like you can become friends with the darkness and they can become your protectors. They're actually like beautiful for asking for protection.
And what are they kind of protecting again, like what are they protecting? Is it sacred lands or
It really just depends where. Um, so like they're showing me like Skinwalker Ranch, and they're saying that like they're upset because that was like their land first. And so they were like really tied into the tribe of that land. They respected that tribe fully. And so like the tribe put a curse on that land, and it's like those beings are still there protecting that land from like whoever else is still there.
That makes sense. And I would understand how that could be beneficial. Is there anything else regarding the dogmen that you would like us to know?
They just feel like they feel so powerful. It's really cool. It's like they have the ability to be like this sweet little puppy, and then they have the ability to be like this werewolf that can destroy anything in its path.
Love that. They I can tap into the energy and I can feel like they're warrior, like they're it may feel malicious to on people on the receiving end, but they actually have a very powerful role as warriors here on that they're being, worked with.
Yeah, exactly. And it's like um they really, yeah, they definitely are protectors for sure. Like they're like your guard dog. Like your guard dog's so sweet, but then if somebody threatens you, then your guard dog will protect you.
Right. And then one last thing, can they shift into a human form?
Yes.
Okay, okay. Well,
Yeah, so
we
they're showing me that like a lot of the ones in Orion, they can shapeshift into human form longer than like other ones, or even longer than reptilians.
they can hold that vibration for longer.
Yeah, it's like very easy for them to hold. Like I'm seeing that they're actually human more often.
Is that why they're hard to find?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we had another question regarding one of the viewers. Their soul is the Syrian essence. Wanted to know what you can tell them about their creator lifetime on Earth, the Abacon. I hope I'm saying it right.
Okay, so he was an architect during Atlantis. So uh he helped like create and mold the stones of Atlantis. And then his statues are underwater because they were caught in the floods of Atlantis, and now they're still underwater.
Now, why are they, is that part of the life contract to be hidden away in the are they, well, let me ask first, are they in a pyramid or a chamber, a building under there or under rocks? Like, where are they?
They're showing me as like pillars. So it's like there's like an outside pyramid, and then there's like a long walkway with like pillars and a statue and like a couple like huge statues. And it's saying that like he was like an architect for all of it. It's like he knew how to create like this geometric flow with sacred geometry to help like ground the frequency that they needed during the time of Atlantis.
Was it being hidden away part of the contract?
Yeah, so it's like he created it knowing that it would all be um well, he didn't know like when he was creating it, but it was in his soul contract that it would be under the water later. But that's why he has memories of it, is because he can still tap in to all the information of those statues. So it's like he put the information of Atlantis in these statues for people to find.
Now, is the wisdom, I know because the concern was that, the feeling of he just wished the wisdom could be preserved. Is the wisdom preserved there where it's at?
Yes, but since it's underwater, that's why it was important for him to be able to remember it in this lifetime. So that's why he has memories of like the statues and things like that, is because like he's able to tap in to all this wisdom that he put into like these statues and stuff from Atlantis. So they're telling me like he should really connect with his sacral because all this information is held within his sacral. Like he's already remembered a lot of it, but like there's even more to come and it's all on your sacral.
So the more he connects that, when he unlocks that wisdom, will that help the collective of humanity as well?
Depending on like how he chooses to use that information.
Okay. All right. That's good to know. We appreciate that information. Um, we wanted to talk a little bit about the Andara crystals. What can you tell us about those?
They hold all of the information of Lemuria and they are living conscious beings.
So, what is the level of their consciousness?
They're showing me it's like the highest frequency that Earth could possibly create. Like those types of crystals, like they're one of the like highest frequency crystals, and that's how they can hold so much information. So it's like there was a select group that knew that Lemuria was going to be destroyed. And so it's like they created these like Andara crystals and they just put all of the information of Lemuria and Earth into these crystals. And so if you get one of these crystals, you can tune your frequency to it and it will uplift and raise your frequency immediately or instantly. And then you can also like gain all of the information from Lemuria and Atlantis.
Now, why were they so important during Lemuria?
Because these crystals hold so much information within them. So that was like the best crystal they could use to put all the information and like store it. They're showing me it's almost like the hard drive of the video game. Like there's just so much information that they put into these crystals. So if you're like really interested in like having more information from Lemuria or connecting to Lemuria, um, you can get one of these crystals and start working with it. And they're showing me that like these crystals are actually like living beings. So you can talk to it and it will talk back to you. And like it's a portal to Lemuria.
Now, is there a place of origin in Lemuria on Earth or Lemuria the planet, or where is it from?
Like they're showing me like pictures of the volcanoes in Hawaii. Like it's like somehow the lava creates these crystals and it's like it holds like the highest frequency of Earth.
And are they fifth dimensional?
Yes, absolutely. So
Do
it's
they
like
go?
they're here to like lead us to the fifth dimension.
Can they vibrate at a higher frequency than fifth dimensional?
Yeah, they're showing me like they vibrate so quickly that it's almost like they're vibrating at the rate of their own soul. Like they're vibrating in between multiple dimensions all at once, to be used on multiple dimensions.
Ooh, I like that. That's beautiful. Is there any other information you want to provide us regarding that?
There's so many tools that have been left for humanity, um, so that they can gain information from the past civilizations of Earth. And Dara crystals like will give you this information, plus they're like just beautiful to work with, like especially for healers. They're incredible for healers because they'll uplift your frequency immediately, and they'll help you hold the frequency of your client. So they're showing me like they're so powerful in healing as well.
Is there a reason why all these tools and information and ancient knowings are being kind of released for this time?
Yeah, so it's like they were made for this time. Like everything, all this information was stored away for this time, so that our civilization can like break out of the cycle of the rising and falling of civilizations, so that we don't have to worry about another having to start civilization all over again. So all these beautiful tools have been left here for us to help guide us to evolving.
Got it. Got it. I know both of us and most people probably listening to this have heard that calling or and they're preparing for that. So we appreciate all this high level information. We have a question about the firmament. Is that real?
I just heard, of course. So okay, so they're showing me that like um the firmament is like the most basic way of understanding the net. Like they're showing me that it's kind of like the Bible's version of the net. So for where human consciousness was at that specific time. So like you can see every ancient text for civilization has been put there for a reason, and different like ancient texts were purposely placed at different times in in evolution. So like when the Bible was created or channeled, the firmament is mentioned because that was like the very basic level of the net. And even like even the concept of like I don't want to get into like Christianity or anything, but just like the very basic level of like heaven and hell, that is a very like three-dimensional, like lower vibrational way to even just see like the seventh dimension and your, I guess, like the power of your belief system. Because at a lower vibrational consciousness, you had to believe, um sorry, I'm blocking it because like this is not things I wanted to get into.
Yeah.
um okay, so basically like just the firmament, like um it's just like the lower vibrational way of understanding the net around Earth. So it's basically just like it holds all of God's creation. And it's kind of like in the Bible, heaven is right outside of the firmament. So it's like if you're on this 3D planet, if you raise your vibration enough, you'll escape the firmament and go into like the seventh dimension of heaven. But if you, instead of hell, like if you if you do bad or if you sin, if you're acting in like a karmic way, then the firmament is going to hold you to earth and hell basically, um and cause you to recycle.
That makes sense. And I appreciate you for getting into a subject that you necessarily don't want to get into. But I feel like the Bible has a lot of parables, has a lot of information that is supposed to span time, no matter what cycle humanity's at. So I feel like it's not so literal, but they're like stories that can be applied to any life situation. So I feel like this makes sense referring to the firmament.
Yeah, there are extremely beautiful parts of the Bible for sure.
Um, is there anything else regarding the firmament they want us to understand and know?
No, like anything else, we just urge you to read all these texts yourself. So, like, if you have read the Bible, then go start reading things like the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, the Sumerian tablets, the Book of Enoch, the um they're just showing the Lost Book of Enki. Like, they're just showing me that, like, all this stuff, start to see that, like, everyone had the same story, or they all talk about like the same main things that happened in your Earth's history. So like, as always, we just really urge you to do your own research and like start putting the pieces together for yourself.
Now, question, the other morning, I think I woke up at like 4 a.m, and before Ceirra and I were having a session and read the Book of Enoch. And then when we talked, she actually read it that morning too. Is there a reason why we were both guided to read the Book of Enoch?
So they were just saying like we were interested in it because of the Antarctica video that we made. Um, but there's also angels that would like really like to come forward in our next couple of sessions and talk more about Enoch, and like they're just asking, like, I guess the archangels are just asking us to try and channel them more often because they also have perspectives that they would love to share about like the 5D transition and just how to live with love on earth.
I love that. And I want to apologize to the archangels. We've got so much love for you. I think that we also just have such a connection with our family and on Arcturus. So we definitely will reach out for future sessions and do that. So thank you for that message.
Yeah, and they're saying that like it will also be an amazing an amazing session with Enoch, just understanding Enoch more and the Elohim and the archangels.
Yeah, absolutely. I think any perspective we can get and clarity to help us for these times, like we trust that you guys know the information we need to bring forth. So we love you very much, and that's our on our to-do list.
I know. They're also telling me that like um that the angels are always here to help guide us, and they're just saying like I just feel so much love. They're just saying that like a lot of the angels like have aspects of themselves, and I guess that's like what the Elohim were. It's like the Elohim were like aspects of archangels on earth.
Because I feel like you were already tapping into that when we were talking about it.
Yeah, but that's the first time I've actually gotten like a clear answer of who the Elohim were.
Well, I can't wait to connect with you on our next session and just dive deep into this.
Yeah, definitely.
You're gonna regret giving us your phone number, because we're gonna be calling you. All right. So we have one final message, our final question that is regarding a listener or a YouTube viewer that had listened to other YouTube videos, and we're told a little bit about the Arcturians and Syrians, and that they inserted themselves here as walk-ins on Earth, and to kind of manipulate the outcome of evolution. What can you tell us that?
So in a way we have. So in a way the in a way the waves of volunteers were extraterrestrials inserting themselves into the Earth video game. And then it's really just up to like the human souls or the evolution of Earth to listen to our information or if they want to use our information to help the entire species evolve.
So you use the terminology video game. What can you explain to us more about that?
So each planet has their own matrix. So, and each matrix has coding that goes into it to create the the atmosphere, to create the experiences. Like everyone, you can see it as a programmed video game, and that is why there are so many people questioning if you live in a simulation, because by a sense it is a simulation, because you're choosing the experiences that you have. You're choosing to be a part of that reality. So if you look at it that way, then of course it is like a video game. But the difference is that the difference between this reality and a simulation is that you can raise your consciousness to a level where you're creating your own video game in the simulation. So it's like you have your own creator codes that allow you to create while you're in the simulation. So like you could see Earth before, as human consciousness was growing, they were just in a simulation. Like they have been programmed, they were conditioned to live their life contracts exactly as the experiences that they wanted to come into. But since people, and even like extraterrestrials, are coming here to have this human experience of a higher consciousness, they're actually able to like raise their consciousness to a level where they know that they're in a simulation, and they understand that they can use this simulation to create what they want.
Now, are the galactics, the extraterrestrials, are they actually existing, or are they just a avatar that's been placed in this simulation?
It depends. Like there are some that have just been placed here, um, or that are NPCs as well, because they've chosen a different experience. And then there are also the ones that have like placed themselves purposefully here.
Now, let me see. There's a little bit about the technology, and we're going to post this in the video. So if you want to refer to it, so they're saying like the technology they're putting out was very weird and stuff. Is that true?
They're just saying it's only weird if you don't understand it. So, okay, so what they're showing me is, so basically this channeler was saying that like we're just in a giant supercomputer. The Arcturians are and Syrians are just like and basically imposing themselves onto our video game. And they're using walk-ins to, if like, basically provide their own knowledge into the computer game. So if you look at it that way, then in a sense that is correct. Like in a sense, we are just in a giant supercomputer in this matrix, because that's what the matrix of a planet is. So when you're in a higher dimension and you're choosing what planet you want to go into next, when you're choosing the next life experience, you choose the matrix of the planet that resonates most with like the lessons you want to learn. And you can see the matrix of the planet as a supercomputer. Like you could even see it as technology, because there's coding behind all of it. Like there's sacred geometry behind every experience, behind every planet, behind every human being or any being at all. So if you look at it at like the most basic level, then it is like a giant computer, because computers are actually like the three-dimensional version of technology. And it's like as the dimensions, as you go up in dimensions, this technology looks a lot different, and feels a lot different, but it just manifests in different ways. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, I mean, the way they've explained like the matrix and if you will to me is like, okay, so everything holds frequency, vibration, matter. So if like your thoughts and the things that you believe like vibrate at a certain rate, it eventually becomes dense and becomes matter. So it becomes like the construct of the reality around you that you can physically feel. So you're basically like saying like that's how it is, kind of like a computer simulation, is that we are creating the constructs around us.
Yeah, and then so you have all these different beings, and they're also projecting this different frequency at the same time, and that's how you have like the collective consciousness and then your own consciousness.
Okay, that makes sense. Is there anything else that you want to let me know or let the viewers know?
So they're really showing me like two things. So one, like just always like be aware, or just really listen to your heart when you're listening to other people's channel. Like it is good to hear other people's perspective, but just always like go into your heart and just ask like, does this really truly resonate with my soul? Because there are a lot of people like that either misunderstand truly what the matrix is, and there's a lot of people that like, I mean, I guess it's all perspective. So it's just like really asking if this information resonates with you. Like we won't say if it's good or bad. We'll just say that like just right now is a great time to use your own discernment with these things. And then also it's just all perspective. So it's like you might see something from a different perspective, or from like one perspective, and then like a year later as you've progressed, you could watch that same thing from a different perspective and see it completely different. So just always stay open-minded, and just try to like look at it from different perspectives to see if it resonates with you as well.
Got it. Well, I think that was it for our viewer questions. Are there any final messages that you'd like to give to all the viewers and to us as a gift?
I think that that's like really it for today. Just as always, like we love you so much. And if you guys have any questions for our next video, you can always put them in the comments down below. And we'll try to answer them the best that we can.
Love that. Thank you so much for coming in. Thank you to the archangels. Thank you to all the collectives that helped with this information today. We love you. We love you. We love you.
Thank you.